Hey there friend, Zach here. And what's the deal with puzzle games anyway? I mean, I play a game to be a mindless idiot. I don't want to think. I mean, the only thinking I do is with portals, not my Oh, wait a minute.
That's right, today's game is Portal, everyone's favorite puzzle platformer. For those of you who might not know what Portal is, well, it's a game with portals that you shoot from a gun. I feel like I could stop there at that point, actually. No, but Portal is a puzzle game that has been universally praised by many, calling it the best puzzle game and going as far as to call it the best game ever made. Now, I can't necessarily agree on it being the best game ever made, as I feel that the title of best game ever is really more of a personal answer since there are so many genres of games out there. Now, is it my favorite puzzle game ever made? Actually, yes, it is. Before I explain why it's my favorite puzzle game out there, what is Portal's story and gameplay like compared to other puzzle games on the market? The story to Portal is actually not too apparent at first. It's when you dive deep into the lore and listen to the voice lines of GLaDOS, we'll get to her in a bit, that you will get a better understanding of what is going on. You will actually get an even better understanding when you play the second game, but let's just focus on the first one today. So you play as the protagonist named Shell, who wakes up in what appears to be a futuristic bedroom of sorts. You are greeted with an almost computer-generated sounding voice, telling you to get up and walk through the chamber. You are then introduced to a simple puzzle that also introduces you to some of the basic gameplay elements. But that's gameplay. Again, we'll come back to that later. After completing the first chamber, you reach the exit and are greeted to an elevator that takes you to the next chamber, to which you are greeted with a different puzzle you must complete. A few puzzles later, you are introduced to the portal gun, a device that lets you create your own portals. See, before finding this device, the portals would form on their own or from another device entirely. Now you have the power to create them in your hands. Kind of. See, at first, you will only get the power to create one portal with this device. A little later after that point though, you will find the second half, allowing you to shoot two portals. Now we get to the most interesting character in the game and arguably the most savage and sarcastic character in gaming entirely. This is GLaDOS, or the Genetic Life Form and Disk Operating System.
Did well. Enough.
Alrighty then. Anyway, you advance through more chambers and then you notice things seem to be a bit off. So far, you are the only human in this facility. There are no other human life forms to be found at all. It's almost eerie to be honest. Having no other present human life would definitely worry me a bit.
Speaking of which, I was researching sharks for an upcoming test. Do you know who else murders people who are only trying to help?
Okay, that's enough of you. Well, as you venture on through more test chambers, there are these secret little areas you can access through walls, moving doors, and more. Inside these areas are mysterious wall paintings created by an unknown being. Your curiosity grows. You then reach your last chamber. Freedom surely awaits at the end. Until...
The test is now over. All aperture technologies remain safely operational up to 4,000 degrees Kelvin. Rest assured that there is absolutely no chance of a dangerous equipment malfunction prior to your victory candescence. Thank you for participating in this Aperture Science computer-aided enrichment activity. Goodbye.
That's right, the giant computer voice is about to kill you by dropping you into a giant incinerator. But being the wonderful protagonist that you are, you manage to quickly escape what first seemed like an inevitable death. However, this angers GLaDOS. Now you are on a mission to eliminate this monstrous machine that has been your only companion for the majority of the game. And I say majority of the game because you had a much better companion before. Until, well... that machine's evil should have been apparent right at this moment, I'm telling you. You're essentially going out of bounds in order to find GLaDOS, and the further along you go, instead of becoming more angry, the closer you get, she actually becomes worried and afraid of you potentially arriving, which guess what? You eventually do. That's right, you eventually reach the GLaDOS chamber, and you finally catch an official glimpse of what she looks like. This is the part of the game where she tries to kill you. Again, this time releasing a deadly neurotoxin that will kill you in just a few minutes. You learn that these things known as morality cores, which are actually hilarious if you pay attention to what they're saying, are keeping GLaDOS from releasing the neurotoxin that will, in short, blow up the whole facility. To defeat her, you guide a rocket shot by this sentry towards her, and you take the core that drops from her and throw it into the incinerator. You eventually defeat GLaDOS by disposing all of the morality cores attached to her, and she blows up, and, well, that's it. Almost. So I'll admit that I think that with the way that Portal ended, you would be forgiven for thinking that this was going to be the only game in the series. I mean, the game just ends with an explosion. But it doesn't. You can even see GLaDOS just laying there motionless. Anyone would assume she is dead. However, you on the other hand are dragged away by an unknown force.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what time you are watching this video. My name is Zach, and today I'm going to present to you one interesting fact about what happens when you click on the subscribe button down below. Not only will you be able to stay up to date with all the videos that I post here on the channel, but when you click that subscribe button, you will make somebody in this world, one person, say the word the. That's right, when you click on the subscribe button, one random lucky individual will say the word the right out of their mouth. Go ahead and test it out. Click on that subscribe button, stay up to date with my videos, and make someone's day special by having them say the word the. That's all for today's interesting subscriber button fact. I will see you next time.
That's all I can really say about the story. If you want to go more in depth with the lore, I highly recommend playing Portal 2. I don't want to say anything about it because this video is primarily focused on the first game of the series, but I will say that you should definitely play it after you beat Portal 1. Or watch this video since, well, I guess I gave you the ending anyway. But anyway, back to this Portal. What makes this game so much fun to play? Well, aside from the already great story, the gameplay itself is pretty innovative. With your handheld portal device, you can shoot either a blue or an orange portal and walk in between to get from one location to another. This device can allow you to make some pretty interesting strategies to solving different puzzles, such as shooting a portal to a high platform in order to reach the top, using the portals to launch yourself across the room that you are in, guiding energy spheres, or even destroying enemy turrets in creative ways. Or, of course, you could always just have more fun than you should with it. It really is an interesting device, isn't it? While on the topic of solving puzzles, I should also mention that there is no fall damage in this game, so you won't have to worry about trying to jump into a portal from a high up platform and missing. Some of the puzzles themselves might have you scratching your head a bit, but I highly recommend not looking up a guide on how to solve them unless you absolutely need to. I played through the game with this philosophy in mind, and I just got way more satisfaction out of solving a puzzle myself instead of someone telling me how to do it. As for the game performance itself, Portal can pretty much run on any computer. It's a bit of an older game, but honestly for a game that came out back in 2007, it still looks great even to this day. That's kind of a magical trait with Valve games, actually. They can manage to make great looking games that can also run on pretty much anything. I should also point out that this game technically isn't its own thing, but it also is at the same time. It's weird. See, Portal is technically a mod for Half-Life 2, so if you have ever played Half-Life 2, you'll notice a lot of similar sounds. I wouldn't say you would see similar graphics, however. In terms of the aesthetic, Portal is way different than Half-Life 2 in that retrospect. The physics are the same, however, as Portal and Half-Life 2 both run on the same Source 2 engine that Valve uses for their games. Honestly, in terms of flaws that Portal has, I can't really think of anything that frustrates me. I could say that some of the puzzles can be a little irritating, but that's not any issue of the game at all. It's more or less just me getting stuck on certain parts of a chamber that I'm stuck in, but I'll eventually find the solution and feel like an idiot at the end for not finding it sooner. I think the one thing about Portal that isn't necessarily irritating but more disappointing is the length of the game itself. In my opinion, it's really short. I personally feel that the sequel was much longer compared to the first game. But this game, if you're relatively quick at solving puzzles and choosing not to explore the chambers more in depth to try and find secrets, you could beat it in almost an hour. Probably one other thing about this game that is extremely debatable is the lack of a diverse story. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Portal has a very interesting lore behind it. However, if you just run through the game without exploring the chambers a little bit to try and find the Ratman chambers, you won't really learn too much about the story. However, I say this is debatable because, like I mentioned, the Ratman chambers exist to send a bit of a warning about what you would be getting yourself into later on in the game. And the creepy paintings he hides on the walls let you know of GLaDOS' rather evil intentions. But that's really all I can think of, honestly. I cannot recommend this game enough. It really is fun, but a rather short experience, and it's only $10 on Steam right now. If you love this game and want more, the sequel is also only $10. Honestly, I recommend just spending the $20 and getting both of them at the same time.
And that's Portal. You know, going back to the topic of talking about games that, you know, can run on pretty much any machine, those are the kind of PC games I want to review if I choose to do so, because I believe that these kind of games should be experienced by as many people as possible. Now, how do I actually end this video?